The abandoned hospital loomed on the outskirts of town, its crumbling facade a silent testament to a bygone era of medical care. Rumors of mysterious sounds echoing through the desolate corridors had reached my ears, and as an amateur paranormal investigator, I couldn't resist the allure of unraveling the secrets that clung to the abandoned institution. As I entered the decaying lobby, the air felt heavy with the weight of forgotten lives and lost memories. The once pristine floors were now covered in a layer of dust, and the hushed whispers of the past seemed to seep through the cracked walls. The hospital, now a spectral shell, held tales of patients who had suffered within its confines and nurses who had dedicated their lives to the healing arts. The first sign of the supernatural manifested in the form of distant footsteps. Echoes of soft, rhythmic tread resonated through the abandoned hallways, creating an unsettling symphony that defied the absence of the living. Intrigued, I followed the spectral sounds, guided by the eerie melody that seemed to pull me deeper into the heart of the abandoned hospital. As I ventured further, the whispers of nurses from the past became more pronounced. Flickering shadows danced along the walls, and the air buzzed with an otherworldly energy. The soft rustle of starched uniforms and the gentle hum of conversation echoed through the corridors, transporting me back to an era when the hospital was alive, with the hustle and bustle of dedicated caregivers. The mysterious sounds led me to the nurses' station, a place frozen in time. A flickering overhead light cast an ethereal glow over the worn-out chairs and outdated equipment. As I stood in the abandoned station, the temperature dropped and the whispers intensified. The apparitions of nurses, clad in vintage uniforms, materialized before me. Their translucent forms moved with a sense of purpose, as if tending to the needs of invisible patients. The air carried the scent of antiseptic, and the soft beeping of long-gone medical equipment played like a haunting melody. One spectral nurse, her eyes filled with compassion, approached me with a spectral clipboard in hand. It was as if she sought my assistance in completing a task left unfinished in the realm of the living. The ghostly nurse gestured towards an empty wheelchair, a phantom patient awaiting care. The urgency in her spectral eyes conveyed a silent plea for acknowledgement and assistance. Without uttering a word, she faded into the shadows, leaving behind the remnants of a time when the hospital was a place of healing. Determined to unravel the mysteries that clung to the abandoned hospital, I continued my exploration. The mysterious sounds led me to the long-forgotten patient wards, where the flickering light of a single bulb cast shadows that seemed to dance with spectral life. The soft moans and whispers of invisible patients filled the air, creating an eerie cacophony that transcended the boundaries of the living and the dead. As I moved through the patient wards, the apparitions of nurses continued their spectral duties. They moved gracefully between empty beds, their transparent hands adjusting non-existent blankets and administering unseen medications. The ghostly echoes of a hospital routine played out before me, a poignant reminder of the compassionate care that had once defined the institution. In one of the abandoned rooms, the mysterious sounds coalesced into a symphony of spectral footsteps and soft murmurs. The air became charged with an ethereal energy as the apparitions of nurses gathered around an unseen patient. The room pulsated with an otherworldly glow, and a sense of reverence filled the air. It was as if the nurses of the past were conducting a spectral ceremony, a ritual of care and compassion for a patient who existed beyond the veil of the living. The ghostly figures huddled around an empty bed, their movements synchronized to an unseen rhythm. The mysterious sounds swelled, reaching a crescendo that seemed to transcend the boundaries of the abandoned hospital. As I observed the spectral ceremony, a sudden chill ran down my spine. The room, once filled with the echoes of the past, fell silent. The apparitions of nurses dissipated into the shadows, leaving behind an empty room frozen in time. The mysterious sounds had ceased, and the abandoned hospital returned to its desolate state. Determined to uncover the truth, I pressed on, guided by the lingering echoes of the nurse's presence. The spectral sounds led me to the hospital's chapel, a place where solace and healing had once been sought. As I entered the dimly lit space, a soft hymn floated through the air, sung by ghostly voices that transcended the boundaries of the living. The pews were filled with spectral figures, their transparent forms bowed in silent prayer. The ethereal choir continued their haunting melody, their voices echoing through the chapel like a requiem for the forgotten. The mysterious sounds reached a crescendo, enveloping the space with a sense of both sorrow and peace. In the midst of the spectral congregation, the ghostly figure of a nurse stood at the altar, her hands clasped in prayer. The hymn intensified, and the air pulsed with an otherworldly energy. The ghostly nurse turned towards me, her eyes conveying a sense of gratitude and release. As the final notes of the spectral hymn echoed through the chapel,